Now available in paperback and e-readers, E-Steam Ascension, The Devil's Diva reaches a turning point in her life with this powerful E-Steam series story. Get E-Steam Ascension at online booksellers today. It looks like the cancer from SJW Marvel is getting ready to spread into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, I saw early indicators that the SJW cancer was getting ready to spread in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with Spider-Man Homecoming. Now, if anyone who has watched Spider-Man Homecoming knows, Spider-Man Homecoming is nothing like the Spider-Man comics, and Spider-Man Homecoming is rife and filled with a lot of forced diversity and identity politics, and is nothing like the Spider-Man comics many of us grew up reading. It does not capture the spirit of a Spider-Man comic. It does not have the soul of a Spider-Man comic, and it does not have anything related to the Peter Parker from the comics in that film. And it looks like the SJW cancer that started in Spider-Man Homecoming has finally started to spread throughout the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And it looks like we're going to see the infestation start to spread with next year's Captain Marvel. Now, when it comes down to the character of Captain Marvel in the Marvel comic book universe, the Carol Danvers version of Captain Marvel just has not gotten over in the almost 6 to 7 years this character has been in the role of Captain Marvel. And the Carol Danvers Captain Marvel has sold poorly in Marvel Comics over the last 6 or 7 years, and they have constantly relaunched this character time and time again in a new series, but with each relaunch, the character sells less and less comics. And the decision to make Carol Danvers Captain Marvel the new face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe is mind-boggling when you consider that the character just has not gotten over with comic fans, and many comic fans mock that character now, calling her Carl Manvers and talking about how she looks like a post-operative transgender. And they look at this character and they don't like this character, they don't have any connection to this character, and they just don't care about this character. So I have to wonder, what is in Disney executives' minds to go out here and make this character the new face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Because they're proposing that after Avengers 4, they want to use Captain Marvel to be the face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they want to use her to lay the foundation for the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And the characters they have planned for the Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe are head-scratching as well. There is talk about bringing in Kamala Khan, Ms. Marvel, another character who is an incredibly poor seller and is not over with many comic fans. And they want to bring in Miles Morales, Spider-Man, and Riri Williams. And the whole decision to bring in Miles Morales is another head-scratcher because, again, we have a Peter Parker Spider-Man that the world knows and loves, and the one everyone sees as Spider-Man. So bringing in Miles Morales is kind of a redundant character, and it also really does not really help make the Marvel Cinematic Universe remain substantive. And if they're going to go out of their way to go out and kill popular characters like many are proposing for Infinity War, this may be the nail in the coffin for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, because bringing in these characters that are poor sellers in the comic book world, characters who have not gotten over with many comic fans, and characters that many comic fans just don't care about, is not a way to build an audience for your next generation of movies, because they're proposing that Avengers 5 will feature many of these new characters, and with them trying to bring in these new characters, I don't see the Marvel Cinematic Universe getting any further past a certain point into the later 21st century. I mean, I look at the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, and it's very rickety with very mediocre movies like Infinity War, Spider-Man Homecoming, and I'm looking at the decision to make a character who is just not popular the new face of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, And I'm thinking that this is one of the stupidest decisions I have ever heard. When it comes down to Brie Larson, I don't see her having the charisma and the presence of a Robert Downey Jr. Now, Robert Downey Jr. was a very charismatic actor, a very charming actor, and it was his charisma and charm that really got this Iron Man movie over with fans, and it's been Robert Downey Jr. who's been carrying the Marvel Cinematic Universe from movie to movie and overall. So I don't see Brie Larson being that kind of face to those movies. I see her in the same way I would see Rodimus Prime. Now, back in the 1980s, they had a film called Transformers the Movie. And in Transformers the Movie, they wound up killing off many popular characters that fans liked, and then they wanted to introduce this new group of characters like Cup, RC, Blur, and Wreck-Gar, and many others. And what happened was, at the end of the movie, they expected kids to go out here and buy all these new Transformers. But what happened was many of the kids had a connection to the old characters, and when they saw the old characters die, a lot of kids were crying in the theater, they got really upset, and they had no interest in buying the new characters, and the Transformers brand died for over 9 years. And it took Beast Wars to revive the brand, and I see that type of thing happening to Marvel if they go ahead with this decision to kill off many of these characters in Avengers 4, because they go out here and kill these characters in Avengers 4 like they're speculating, and then bring in these SJW characters. What's going to happen is the SJW characters are going to get the same type of hate that Rodimus Prime got, that Cup got, that RC and Blur got, and Wreck-Gar got, and Galvatron got back when they tried to relaunch Transformers with that brand new set of characters. None of those characters really endeared and endured over time, and many of those characters just get roasted whenever Transformers fans talk about them. And when I look at Avengers 4 and the plans to go and kill off characters that people have grown to have relationships with over 10 years, and then bring in SJW characters that have just not gotten over in the last 4 or 5 years, and continue to get worse over time, and many more fans just go out here and roast and rip their comics, I don't see anything positive coming out of it. If anything, I see Avengers 4 being like Last Jedi and being the last straw for many comic fans, and I see the MCU being devastated in the same way that Last Jedi devastated it. And I see Captain Marvel being the film that's going to be like The Force Awakens, and that started to alienate people, because when I look at this Carol Danvers, she's looking more and more like a Mary Sue who's going to come in and save things. And then I see Avengers 4 being The Last Jedi and being the film that turns people away from the MCU. And I see this whole plan to bring in the SJW characters as being something akin to what happened with Transformers the movie. And if they go ahead with these plans, I see the MCU going down in the same ignominious fashion that I saw Star Wars just go down a year ago. If you'd like to try some of my SJS Direct publications like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, The Temptation of John Haynes, and the Spinsterella trilogy, you may do so by clicking the link to Amazon.com in the description box. And if you want to help me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.